What's up, everyone? We're going to continue on with our 1980 Williams Scorpion. This is a System 6. In the last part we got it all back up and running. If you have been following the series, you'll know that it went black on me, and I worked on the MPU, and we had it on the bench, and it was working, and we put it back in the game, and it come up and it was running, but then after about 5 minutes it went black again. So we pulled the MPU back out of it, and we found out that after it heated up for a little bit, we lost our blanking circuit. Blanking circuit is test point 4, runs through here and in this chip here. So we changed out that chip, and we got our blanking circuit back and solid. But we were having problems with the driver board. The driver board kept kicking it out. So I grabbed another driver board and we reworked it, because I do want a spare one anyway. So we got this one up and running, and now it is staying on, but we have a few switches that are not working. Mainly our credit button's not working. And we have 4 games up there. So that's something that we're going to look at in this video. Plus, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to install our drop target bank that we made new parts for on the 3D printer. And we're going to get that installed. I don't think this has to be in just in order for it to go in gameplay. But I want to start here. We're going to put this in first just to make sure that we're not pulling all that back out and working over the switch matrix on the driver board. So we're going to put this in, get this installed, get it all back in, and then we'll turn it on and see what happens. And if we still have the same problem, then we're going to go ahead and we'll start working on that driver board on that one. I know the other one would go into gameplay, but that was the one that kept kicking the blanking circuit out, which I kind of narrowed down to, I'm believing it's the PIA for our solenoids, because the clue is every time the blanking circuit would trip out, the flippers would jump. So there was something in our solenoid area that was tripping and killing the blanking circuit. So I'm kind of leaning towards that PIA, which we'll get into sometime. I don't know if it'll be in this video, but I do want this one up and running too, because I want a good backup in case something happens over at the arcade. I can just take that one over and put it in and be done with it, and it's back up and running, and then bring that one back over and work on it. I have another project that we'll do too, is I'm going to put together another good MPU for the System 6. That'll be another video somewhere down the line. That's probably when we'll get into that too, into that driver board. But then we get the drop target bank in. If it goes into gameplay, fine. Then we'll work on our displays. I think we got our master displays kind of acting goofy, so we'll work on it. But if it doesn't go into gameplay, then we're going to start working on that driver board again and working on the switch area of the driver board. And then if we have time, we'll work on the displays. We may have to do the displays in another one, just depending on how long the video is, and if I have time in a video to get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'll get you set up, and I'll flip the play field and turn it off, of course. Flip the play field, and we're going to install our drop target bank and get it all wired up and soldered back in and ready to go. Okay, this is pretty basic here. I had one break off, and it goes down here, and our diodes come down and solder onto our terminals. Each one of these terminals goes to here. I have them labeled, even though they don't do nothing except take your power from them up to your drop targets, your signal, and your white. The green is our white, which goes up top here. And I'm going to be all over the place getting these all soldered in and that, and I'm going to keep getting in your way, and you're not going to be able to see what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll get that all soldered in, get all of our switches soldered in and ready to go, and we will be set. What's up, everyone? We're going to continue on with our Scorpion. We're still having problems with our board set. We did get most of it up and running. I got my drop target bank in. I still have a few adjustments to do on it, so when I did get it to go into gameplay, and as you can see, we have some lights out now. Well, I'm back to the original driver board. If you remember, our driver board that we built as a spare would not go into gameplay. So I figured it's in our switches, our switch matrix here. Well, when I pulled this out, I started looking it all over, and I found one of these transistors that was bent, and in a special was bent and was touching. So that may have been causing our whole problem as far as not going into gameplay. Every once in a while it would go into gameplay, but it just acted so wonky that it would kind of, every time you go down either in lane, if you'd hit the in lane, it would change from ball 1 to ball 2, ball 3, and then it would quit. So you didn't have any, just run through too quick without it being in the, I guess the out hole. So but what I found out is this driver board kept tripping and blowing the solenoid fuse. Okay, well that may be an indication here. But I went ahead and changed the PIA on our original driver board, and now it's up and running, and it stays. If you remember, it was only about 5 minutes and then it would shut down and blank out. and it'd kill the blanking circuit. So I think that PIA was what was killing our blanking circuit. It would heat up and short out on the inside and kill our blanking circuit. Well, yesterday I had it turned on and I left it sit for about a half an hour with that driver board in it, and it worked fine. I was able to get it into gameplay, and I actually had everything working. I thought, okay, great, we got this all figured out. Now all I got to do is work on our lights on that one, because when we took that one out, the lights worked. Now when I put it back in, the lights are out. But the other driver board, all the lights work. So, you know, like I said, this machine's been kind of a problem child ever since I've got it. And that's why it was parked, is because it just, so much chasing your tail, it seems like, but you're not. You're just chasing existing problems that crop up after things heat up. Okay, well, after I played a game, messed around, tested everything, you know, got high score on it, and everything worked. You know, see, now it won't go into gameplay. So again, there's something going on. Oh yeah, that's right. I think I have to have a good fuse in it for the solenoids in order for it to go into gameplay. I think that's what I did figure out. Let's... man, I'm running low on fuses. Hopefully we can get this. But I think... see, as soon as you turn this on, this is our 28 volt solenoid fuse, 2.5 amp. I think I have three is what I'm using in it, because I already burnt up all my 2.5s. Now you turn it on, and see, this time it didn't blow our fuse. Okay, do I have... no, I don't have... it takes two. Now, let's see if it'll blow the fuse. Nope, fuse is still good. So, I mean, it really pops that fuse when it... Now let's see if it goes into gameplay. And see, now it's going to work. And that, we have a dead bumper. This one's dead. That one. And this one may just be a... Alright, okay, 70, it scored. Alright, let's turn it off. And let's see what it does now. And the fuse is still good. See, this is why, like I said, I feel like I'm chasing my tail at times with this machine, because they're intermittent problems. And hopefully that rears its head again so I can determine where it's at. Now, I had the playfield up because I gotta work on our drop targets again. I have one that's hanging up a little bit. That one hangs up every now and then, so I want to work on it. And there's still a couple of them that aren't scoring, so I'm gonna work them over again. And that light there on that pop bumper is probably part of that light, that set of lights, and our 2 through 5. Everything else seems to be good. Okay, now let's see what we can do about our lights. That means pulling the driver board back out. Those things are, oh well, I need to pull it out anyway because I want to stick that other one back in and see what that one does now that I've straightened out that transistor. You know, I wanna change that PIA so bad, but I need to put it in after I straighten out that transistor and see if this one works without changing that PIA, because then that way I know that that's good, that PIA is working. Okay, I'm gonna pull the solenoid driver board again, or the driver board. It does more than just solenoids. I'm going to pull it and we're going to take a look at our lights again. Alright, false alarm. All it was a loose connection on my driver board. I went to start pulling them off, and I found one that was for our columns wasn't shoved in all the way. So I pushed it all the way in, turned it on, and now we have all of our lights back. Because you know, that was puzzling me, because I knew that driver board, everything worked. All the lights worked on it. You know, and see, we got our pop bumper back, our 10 through special is back, and our 2, 3, and 5, everything's back up and working like it should. So sometimes that happens. You're just putting stuff together and you don't get something pushed on all the way. So now let's, man, I need new displays for this thing. But we're gonna run what we brung. That one's kind of bloated. Number 3's bloated, flickering. Bottom line is missing on 3 and 4, and we got a corner missing on 2. And looks like number 1 we have one bloated. Yeah, one bloated digit, and that's the second digit. That one's not too bad. What I'll probably end up doing is moving that one over to 2, because 2 looks like it's in better shape. I'll move that one down to 4, that one up to 2, that one down to 3. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So now let's see if we can't get all of our segments back. So I'm gonna pull that main display board, and we're gonna take a look at it and see what the heck we can come up with on it, and see if we can figure out why we're missing segments. Okay, here's the schematics of the master display. Try and keep that fluorescent light out of there. Okay, I figured out players 3 and 4. These bottom halves, these are our segments. If you come over here, our bottom segment, I don't know if you can read that, but is D. That's the one that's out on 3 and 4. So D, 3 and 4 share the same resistor, same as 1 and 2 share the same resistors. So D, which would be over here down, which would be the 4th one, right in the middle. So we'll come down to this. IC10 is the one that drives our segments. The fourth one, 1, 2, 3, 4, R11 is the one that runs that bottom segment D. So if we go over here, R11 is the first one on the segment driver for the master display IC10. 11, R11. We come up here and first one, R11, you can see is all nice and black. I tested it. It is closed. Nothing at all through it. The rest of them all test it right around 10. These are 10K half watt resistors. So that one, we changed that one, and that'll bring our bottom segment back. The one that's confusing me, and I'm starting to worry now that it is the display. Let's come back over here. Player 2, that corner segment is F. Player 2, F. Come over, it's the second one, and see player 1 shares that same resistor. Come over here and it is R6. R6 is 1, 2 is the middle one here, and that tests out fine here, and it should, because player 1 segment F is working. So I think we can get our 3 and 4 working, and then we're going to have to pull the display on 2 and check it. We may just have a bad connection on it. We'll see when we get everything all put back in. But you can see that 7th one there is charred, but it still tests fine. But since I have them, I'm gonna replace it. Just, you know, kind of preventive. So I'll get those changed out, and then we'll put her back in and see what's going on. See if we get our bottom segment back on 3 and 4, and we'll check and see how our terminals. You can see they're not bad, but I'll clean them up again. I'll clean this whole board up again with my fiberglass pencil. I'll get those all cleaned up, and we'll go from there and see what the heck happens. Hopefully we'll get everything back. I know we'll get the bottom segment back on 3 and 4, but 2 is getting kind of questionable now. We may have to pull it and take a look and see if maybe we got a bad spot on it, or if we just have a bad glass. Yeah, I got those 2 resistors changed out. Like I said, that one was still testing good, but you know, it was kind of charred, and I figured while you're there, you might as well change it. Alright, let's see what we get now. Got our bottom segment, just went out. Had it, and then it went out. And it is smoking. Letting the smoke out. We're letting the smoke out. Yep, charred that one already. But you seen our segment was still out here. Now I'm wondering if we have a problem with those displays. That's always nice. Phew. Stinks. Let's see. It's not one thing, it's another. these displays are mixed and matched. And this is exactly how I got it. Let's unhook both of those. We may only have one good display on this. Let's move this down. Move. And we'll see if we continue to smoke that resistor. We may have already smoked it in it. It may have crapped it out already. You can see that's the bottom of our master too. And letting the smoke out again, and that's that one. The other one I replaced. Those are 10K resistors, and that's exactly what I put in. Half watt, 10K. Interesting. Alright, let me see what the hell's going on here. Okay, got it back out again. I'm glad I did change that one, because now it kind of pointed me that maybe there's something wrong going on here with these resistors. And right there, all 10K. Okay, and power, half watt. Resistance, 10K. I'm going to set you down for a sec. Alright. Let's test them. See, we're on 20K. Let's see if I can get across these with one hand. And 10. And the ones that are here, no, yep, 9.8. Come on. Yeah, 9.8. Okay, so what changed? These are 10K. I had that, this one in here, that brown one, was still working and didn't smoke. But you seen that one smoked right off, and that one started smoking on me too. So what's going on? Let me see if I have, no, man, interesting. Let me take a look and see what else I have, see if I have any other 10Ks. Okay, I found, let me get over here. Alright. I found some real half watt 10Ks. But I'm not sure if that was the problem or not. Here's what I found out. I changed those two resistors, and this one started smoking again, which is the bottom segment of 3 and 4. And I looked at them and I unplugged number 3, number 4 come on, and that stopped smoking. So I got a bad display here, that the bottom segment, and if I remember correctly, there's really nothing you can do except we'll pull it off and look at it, but there's not much going on there. And same with 2. I plugged in 3, took 3 and stretched it up there and plugged it in, and that's still, that segment is still out. So I may end up with 2 bad displays here. May only be a 2-player for a while. But smoking those, I lost my high score. So I don't know what's going on there. I need to clear everything and see if it comes back. You know, see, that's where high score should be. And now it's not showing up, and it was before I smoked those 2. And if I remember correctly, what I ended up doing is I plugged number 2 into number 3 to see if things would change, and it did. That's when it smoked this one, and that's the bottom segment. That's why we had lost it on the main display and number 1. And I may have knocked something else out by doing all that crap too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull those 2. I'm going to pull all 3 of those, because number 4 is going to go up to number 2 anyway. So I'll pull those 3 displays, we'll look at those 2, and like I said, Gorgar had a bad one too, and it was doing the same thing. It was one of the other segments, and every time you plugged it in, it would blow the resistor, cook it. It would let the smoke out. So I think that's what the problem is we got 2 bad displays. So let me get those out of there and we'll see what's going on. Okay folks, we're back to square one on this. I have the backup driver board back in it because this is the original, and this is the one. This has an intermittent problem. After I worked over the display and got, you know, 2 good ones working, so we can have 1 and 2, and then later on I'll get, I'm just going to order the whole new set from Wolfpack and change everything out. They want like between 55 and 60 bucks for a good used display for the Williams 6-digit. And I need 2 of them, so that's 120 bucks. I can buy the whole kit for $129.99. So I'll go that route. Anyway, let's continue on here. This has the intermittent problem. After I worked over the displays and all that, and I had everything running, I even played a game, and then it kicked out on me. It went black on me again. It started out, I lost high score. If you remember, towards the end of that last segment, I lost high score. I thought maybe something to do with our display blowing out, cooking everything, but nope. That was an indication that there was a problem arising, and sure enough, it kicked out. And now it's doing the same thing it was doing before, is it would stay on for about 5 minutes, and it would chirp, flipper relay would jump, flippers would jump, and then blow the fuse and go black. So that's what this one is doing. The one we have in it has a dead short, and oh yeah, now it's gonna, God, this thing makes a liar out of me all the time. but we have a dead short with our solenoids, and the clue is that when I turn it on, before it blows the fuse, it tries to kick the ball. It kicks the ball out, and this coil right here comes on and stays on. So it locks on and then blows the fuse. So why this thing started working, I have no clue. Anyway, I swear to God, this thing's gonna be the death of me. I could make a whole series out of just fixing a driver board on this thing. And I'm probably making things harder on myself than what they really are, but this is the best way I know how to go through all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this driver board again. So the clue is this coil here is locking on, and it wouldn't lock on with that one. So there's nothing wrong with the coil. And if you remember, when we had it on the bench, it stayed on for about 5 minutes, and then it kicked off. When we lost the blanking circuit, and it went black on us again. And then I had that driver board in there, and that coil doesn't lock on, so I know there's nothing wrong with the coils. Nothing wrong with the coils on any of the play field, because with it on the bench, it would still do the same thing with the power supply. So I know it's not our MPU, because it's different problems with these two different driver boards. And there was no solenoid power on the bench. That's 28 volts. All we're using is 5 and 12 at a ground. So it's not that. It has to be on the driver board, and same with that one. Intermittent problems suck. Trying to figure out intermittent problems, but this one with blowing the fuse right away, that we can track down, because it's always there and it's going to stay there until you find the problem and fix it. So we're going to pull this driver board once again and put it up on the bench and start looking at it and see if we can't figure out what the hell is going on with this and blowing the fuse all the time. I didn't show you blowing the fuse because I've blown enough damn fuses that I am running kind of low on my my 2.5 amp fuses. Okay, let's pull that out and start looking at it again. I'm still fighting with driver boards. Okay, this is the original. I took everything back out after we messed with the displays. We lost, it was on for a long period of time, and I lost the high score. I think I showed that right at the end of that one clip. Should be the previous clip. The high score went away, and then shortly after that it clicked and went blank on me again, went dark. Now this one, every time it does that, the relay trips. It'll trip here, and the flippers jump, and then it goes black. Now I'm thinking that might be a clue, because I've been looking at this and looking it over and testing some components and all that. I have it on right at the moment because I'm trying to catch it so I can show you what it's doing. Once it cools down, it'll come back on like this and stay on for a little while, and then do the same thing again. Usually about 5 or 10 minutes. Hopefully I turned it on before I started this segment and let it sit for a little while, so hopefully we can catch it doing its thing. I tested everything. You know, we shouldn't have any signals on our solenoids, and we don't. Everything is good. No signals coming out. So we know that's not the problem. There's nothing going on in the cabinet with the solenoids, because it'll do it here on the bench with no solenoids hooked up and no voltage. You know, the solenoid voltage doesn't even go through this board set. It goes right directly to the solenoids, and then they're tripped here. This is your special solenoids. The bottom two are your flippers, and this top is your special switches. Now this relay, somebody has been in it because the clips are broke on it, so. But that's not what I'm concerned about. We're going to change it anyway, just to eliminate. The second little resistor down in there is supposed to be a 3.3K resistor, and it's measuring at 0.1, like it's 100 ohm resistor. So that might be an indication that that's, you know, that resistor is back there. There she goes. She just clicked. You've seen it or heard it, and she's still up and running, but it did click, and that's what it does. And then the flippers jump, and then it goes black. This right here is our flipper control. There is one leg coming off of this one. I think that's a 7408 or a 7404. Looks like a 4. Nope, 7408. One leg coming off of that comes down to this little transistor. Now, could it be that this is heating up, or, you know, and it is a little warm. A little warmer than the others, than the one next to it. Well, let's see, we still have our blanking signal. And see, that was locked on. There, that's what it's doing after it heats up. And see, we have our two lights. Now see, with that locked on, it would have blown the fuse. So we're gonna, let me turn that off. I am going to pull that little resistor, and we're gonna check it. I'm gonna change the relay. I have a new one that we're gonna put in. And I may even just go ahead and swap that chip out too, to make sure that that's not triggering everything in here. Because like I said, there's one leg, and you can see it come out from under and goes right down here to the center pin of that little transistor. So we need to change it. I think it's easier to see. There it is. You can see. Now it's that outside leg comes off and goes to the center pin of that little transistor. So I'm thinking we ought to change it. That's a 7402. Sorry, I couldn't read those ones. There's nothing left on them. That one's getting pretty crappy looking. So it could be that too. So I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this whole area, and let's see if we can't get that cured. Getting tired of this. Well, I'm not really getting tired of it. It's just, you know, I got to keep thinking of things to check. And again, this is our clue, as our flippers were jumping when it would go black. So let's rebuild the flipper area. And it could be too that you noticed I marked on my notebook a couple of videos back that said weak flippers. Okay, well, what do you think? Maybe? Alright, let's get her done. Alright, driver board number 3. Yeah, I know. This is why I buy as many of these driver boards and MPUs as I can when they're up for auction, because if you're going to run this old stuff, you better have some extra stuff lying around to work on and work with. Alright, document here a little bit. Intermittent. This is the one that would come on and stay on for 5 minutes or so and then blank out. And I had it working for a little while, and then when we did the displays, then it started acting up again and doing the exact same thing as it was doing before. Now, did that have anything to do with it? I doubt it. I think it was just this board. What I determined on this one, after working it over and trying to figure out what's going on, is this one tip 120 had burnt at one time, coil locked on or something, and it charred the board all the way down through, and it was all smoked. You know, it didn't look bad at first when I first inspected this board and decided that we would try and fix this one. This is the original one that came in the machine. Well, there's too much charring through the board, and I'm getting a slight voltage leak through. I tested my pin here, and I had like half a volt coming through. And if it's coming through, it's bleeding through into the other area. Carbon is a conductor of electricity. It's not a real good conductor, but it will conduct electricity. In order to fix this board, I'd have to cut that out, run new traces, and mount this off to the side away from everything in order to fix this. And I have better candidates to put in there besides hacking up one and having danglies on it or whatever. No. So I abandoned that one. This one, this is the second one. I built this one and put this one in, and this one has a dead short to it. As soon as you turn the machine on, it blows the solenoid fuse, and I went through everything. All the solenoids were good. All the chips are good. It's somewhere on there, and I'm not dealing with this. Screw it. I'm getting kind of at my wit's end with these driver boards, but you know, like I said, if you're going to run this stuff, this is what you have to go through in order to get something up and running. That looks like the wrong transistor. Nope, it's a tip. Okay. So, good candidate for parts. PIAs are good. You know, all that stuff was working. I worked over the flipper area, put a new relay in it and all that. I can pull that back off, even though those are a pain in the ass to pull off. Kind of like a PIA, pain in the ass. Get it? Okay, anyway, this one I pulled out of the pile. It's in good condition. There's no charring or anything on this except for a little bit of smoke damage or a little bit of heat damage from the big resistors. Problem with this one is we have some dead switches, and we have some columns locked on and not flashing, not strobing. But I would rather deal with that than a dead short or an intermittent problem. So we're going to work on this one. I have so many segments that I have done working over these driver boards. I don't know what the hell this video is going to turn out like. It's going to take me hours to comb through all the footage I have of working on these driver boards and determining what's worth putting in. And I did determine that that one and that one are the driver boards, because I built another good System 6 MPU. I don't have a 6802 to put in, so I had to use mine out of my other board, and our ROMs, and this board works good. And same issue with the driver boards. So I determined it's the driver boards, because it wouldn't do it in the machine, or well, it does do it in the machine, but it also does it on the bench. So it's nothing on the play field. All the solenoids are good. So those two, it comes down to the driver boards. And this one, like I said, I determined that one, I have some voltage leaking through on some through some carbon. So that one's just going to be a parts board, unfortunately, because it's a good looking board, but you know, hey, crap happens. That one I'm half tempted to sail that one down over the hill into the creek, because I have more. This is only the ones I pulled up that were decent looking. I still have a tote full of them out in the warehouse. So, let's get busy. Let's get this fixed and get that up and running. I'm getting tired of this, of these segments, of then trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to tell everybody. Okay, I got our board booted on our bench here. You can see we got our blanking signal, so everything should be working. I can get my finger out of the way here. You can hear it pulsing. These are the columns. Okay, that's our lights. We'll work on that later. Right now, let's get these switches. You can see we have signal, 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 signal. Okay, so we have signals going out to our switches, and these should be I think these are the returns, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. So we'll see, we're high, we have voltage, 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 nothing. Voltage, 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 and voltage. We have one dead pin, which is pin 5. So that's probably going to be our switches. So we'll come over to our schematics, and you can see pin. This is switch 5, which is pin 5, J3, number 5. This goes down, oops, goes through our IC 16. IC 16 is our top one, which is switches 5 through 8. This is switch row inputs. And the top one, that one was switch columns drive. Okay, sorry, had them backwards. That's the drive, and this is the input. Okay, anyway, so IC16 is the one that we're going to be looking at. Switch 5 coming out is pin 3, and going in is pin 2. So if we come up here, okay, here's 16. This is number 1. This is out to the pin, nothing. Going in, you can see we have a signal. So we got a bad, this is a hex buffer. Now if our hex buffer was good and we needed to check the PIA, sorry about that. Pin 2 on here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is number 6. You can see we have signal coming out. And if it was dead there, then we need to come over here, which would be pin 29. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, which is the first one with a trace. And you can see we have a signal with a pulse. So we're good into the PIA, out of the PIA, and our hex buffer is the one that's not working. You know, it's pretty simple with a logic probe. You can, and a bench test, you can, with it hooked up to the bench. Let's see, IC 16, 15 and 16 are, oops, wrong one. Let me blow that up some more so you can. IC 15 and 16 are, looks like, is that M? It's a 4049 invert hex buffer. Those are the only two that are on this whole driver board. So I'm going to go ahead and change IC 16, and we'll see if we get our signal after we do that. I replaced that hex inverter, reverse, whatever. And you can see now we have our high, 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 high. This is the one that was out. Got a signal, his high, 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 and high. So that'll take care of our switches. Now on our lights, this is our voltage here coming in, and obviously we don't have no voltage coming in, so we can't check our rows, but we can test our strobes, because the signal's coming down from the PIA and the motherboard, from the MPU. You can see all of our strobes are working. But like I said, you can't test the rows. They're going to all be low, because you have to have the power coming in here, and that's what powers our rows. So I have a couple of them that are locked on and not strobing, and the strobe part's working, so there's something else is going on right through here. These are our transistors for our rows, and I need to unhook the board again and flip it over and test all these. I tested them once, but that was before I put it in the machine, and then, you know, stuff happens. So I'm gonna turn it off, unhook it, flip it over, and I'm going to go ahead and test everything here and see if I can determine what the hell is going on, why we have some lights that are locked on. They're even locked on during gameplay. So I have one of these has got to be locked on, or something's going on up here or here. Okay, this is what I found. These two, 12 and 19, are rows, and these two, 14 and 15, I think it's 15, is our columns. Now you can test these chips just like you would a diode. You find your ground, which, let's see, on this one is pin 10 or pin 1, 2, 3, 4, pin 8. And what you do is you just test across them. That's the power. And see, you get just like a diode or a transistor. This one's tests good. All the pins good on that one. All the pins good on that one. All the pins good on that one. I'm kind of concentrating right here because we have one pin. Get off of there. Try this again. There. And pin 4. Oh, struggles. There. Pin 4 is 1.438, which is a ground, dead ground. So that's probably leaving our lights on and not strobing them. And they're even on during gameplay. And those lights are bonus. There's I think it's 5 and 6 here, and it might be 5 and 6 on here too. And these are on all the time, and there was one other one up in there somewhere that was left on too. Oh, extra ball. So we're going to change that chip out. I think that's a 7406. Yeah, 7406. Pretty sure. That's what that one said. Let's go over here. IC12, yeah, 7406. And you can see that is lamp row 8. That's firepower, so it's not gonna tell me nothing except what it would be on firepower, not on Scorpion. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change this one out now, and then we can pop it all back in and see what we come up with. Well, folks, finally, I got her all squared away, except for a drop target bank. All right, different driver board, like I had said previously in the video. Switches, we changed out the. Oh, that's what the hell is that one again? I don't know. Anyway, we changed out one of the chips, the ICs. I think that's a. Oh, I have it sitting right here. See if I can read it. 140 1404 or 14049 is what that chip was. Changed it out, and that got us all of our switches back. All of our lanes are working now. Let's see, lights. I did find another transistor that had a broken leg on it that was testing okay, so it was just touching it, but it wasn't enough to run anything. And we had one dead leg on our 7406, and we changed that out, put another one in, and now we have everything working. All the lights are strobing. It's been sitting here running probably for about an hour. I've been playing games on it. Well, come on. We got our Got our bumper fixed. It was just a dirty switch. So that's working. Lanes. Those are working. Those are all working. Ball lock. Multi-ball. So everything's up and running. And I still have to work on our drop target bank. Like I said, that one works. That one works sometimes. This one hangs up every now and then and really bricks. See, we still... That one's not registering. Neither is that one. But it does register it being all the way down. See, that one didn't register that time. That one did. So I still got some work to do on the drop target bank, but that's about all that's left on the play field, getting everything up and running and it functioning. We worked through the displays. We got two bad ones. That one, third player, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, the F segment is blown out on that one. Fourth player, when you hook it up, it burns up the resistor on the main board, on the main display. So that one's bad. So we have two good ones, 1 and 2. 3 is, you can read it. And it can be used. That one segment, F segment, is not used a whole lot. Except for like the 8 and 9. So it's in there until I can get the whole kit from Wolfpack, and I'll just redo the whole thing, and that'll fix all of that. But right now we're gonna run it the way it is, because I have until spring. Let's see what else is going on here. Is everything else is up and running. I think my spinner, I gotta... my spinner, I think I still have to hook up my spinner. Rod's on there, but yeah, I don't have it hooked up underneath. Okay, so I got a couple of things to do, and I'll do them off on my own. I won't even turn the camera on to adjust the targets and do a few things here and there, and then it'll be all complete. And then all we have left to do is our back glass. We'll get our back glass all squared away, and this will be done. Looks like maybe one more video on Scorpion, and then we can do another video on gameplay and have some fun with it. The 50,000, that was just a loose bulb. I fixed it. Pop bumper, dirty leaf switch, like I said. So I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making this. This is going to be a fun one to edit, because I have about, probably 2 hours worth of video to go through and try and figure out what the hell to put together to make a decent video out of this. Been a long one on this, probably a week and a half I've been screwing with that, and finally got a good board going. So I hope to see you on the next one, and don't forget, if you want to support the channel, hit the like button. That helps out immensely, and that doesn't cost you a dime. If you want to help the channel out directly, go to my merch page, and the link is in the description. So are two of my affiliates, and check out all the merchandise. I've been adding more stuff to the merchandise page as we speak. So I hope to see you on the next one, and everyone have a great day. Till then, see ya.